it's just so weird it, to think about because we have all these weird rules that have like a good idea behind them, but you know that they're going to have a lot of downsides too.
Oh yeah.
I have a strong opinion that I think most people would not have. I like actually, in some ways, shape, and form, not every way, but I actually like, when there's like a kind of like a monarchy in a way. Like,
Mm.
because if there's someone that's making all the decisions, at least they're gonna have like a uniform, like maybe not uniform, but they'll be making a lot of consistent decisions, and they can actually get things done. For instance, like there's no deliberation. Like they might have a meeting about it, get some counsel from their people, and then they just make the decision, and then like it's done. Like you don't have to go through the courts and the House and the Senate and the it's like the individual state. If there's local governments that you have to like, it's like everything's more complicated.
Hmm.
And so like at some point you have to have certain levels, but if you have that, which it's a good and a bad thing, because obviously if you have someone bad that's in power, it's gonna ruin everything. But
Yeah.
if you have someone like that makes a lot of good decisions in power, it's like the economy, the morality, everything I think would improve in the country for significantly. And but it's just like this like teeter tottering from some half good ideas from either side that they're just like deliberating against, and then some of them get passed, some of them don't, and then like it ends up being a wash after 8 years or whatever.
Yeah. And the stuff actually being put into place isn't even a cohesive thought, and oftentimes doesn't work well with other
Yeah.
laws or stuff that are already in place, and then you either find these weird loopholes or you have contradicting stuff. But yeah, that's too much. I could definitely see a monarchy being an easy thing to manage if there were a ton of monarchies in a small region keeping each other in check.
Okay.
Like like you were saying, if you get a corrupt ruler in there, you're screwed. If we had a corrupt ruler of the United States, the whole world is doomed.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you had like 100 different kingdoms just in the county that
Yeah.
you live in, like imagine all of these kings or whatever you want to call them looking at their neighbor being like, "Oh, this guy's like doing some messed up stuff. We need to go, encourage him to change, or we're gonna have to go and
Take
wipe
his
them
spot.
out."
Yeah.
you
Or
know,
kick boot him.
yeah. But then that's like, is that what civilization has always been? And now we've just got these massive empires.
It kind of is in a way, but the I see, because you have to have some form of like local, stepping stool thing where it's like, because you can't, one person can't control the whole. There's so many little things happening in each individual city, and and that you can't just have like a person that's obviously in rule over it all. But if you had like the individual ones, I think it would be like, are you talking like would they have still have like a central government as well, or would just be just those? Like essentially go back to we're just a group of a bunch of states, and there's no federal.
Yeah, I would keep the power at that level and then not go above that. Anything above that would mostly be representation. Like let's say there were 100 kings in the valley. We all had our own little communities and we needed to somehow communicate with another county somewhere else,
Hmm.
region. Like you're not going to gather up all of these rulers to go and attend this thing. You can have a representative that's like, this is kind of what's going on in our area. We've got this guy and he's got this kind of thing that's working out really well and all this stuff. I don't think you ever need to reach a level of power beyond that.
Okay.
Maybe just a network of power. You know
That's
what I mean?
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, because if you have that, maybe like I was thinking, like, well, we would have a lot harder time, I think, defending. Like you talk about defense,
Mm.
wartime.
Hmm.
Like it could be bad, but at the same time, maybe you just have like the problem is that you don't have like goals maybe that everyone shares. So if 3 states in this area decide they don't want to be a part of it, but 6 to 8, and then like you have obviously more like battles in between them, at least words wise, and then I think it would just complicate things so much because there wouldn't
Mm.
be like a local or like a centralized idea. Like when you declare war as a
Mm.
country, especially a country as big as ours and with as much power that we have,
Mm.
you like they have like we're going to beat this person or we're going to accomplish this before we do this or
Mm.
like you and there's people that are already kind of sectioned off from society that are getting paid obviously to be soldiers and they basically do what they're told. And if we could have like individual groups of soldiers, but you automatically kind of like bring down like the power that you have maybe in the world because maybe let's just say I don't know, China doesn't want to do that. They don't want to go to these localized powers. They want to keep this central. They're automatically going to have more power than all these group states in a
Mm.
way. Like
It,
you might if you can find a way to get past that, create like some form of ally, I don't know, agreement or like even the military just organizing it in a way that everyone has a say at or, but you still have this person's in charge. This person
mm.
speaks for all of us in a way.
Mm.
But they don't have necessarily power in the country that they can dictate what happens in each thing, but they have more like decision power when it comes to I mean
Yeah.
wartime or things like that.
Yeah. It would be a multi-dimensional um, organization for sure. Because like the wartime examples you're mentioning, yeah, like if this kingdom only has like 20 soldiers to contribute to this war, and so do all of the neighboring areas, it's like okay, well you get 10 of those, and now you have 200 soldiers. Like who's in charge,
Yeah,
and how?
exactly,
But
exactly, yeah.
um, yeah, I think I think there's a way of doing it.
Yeah,
There's
it's
a way
just
of
a
doing
lot
it,
of
but
thinking, you know.
it's that yeah, and is that unnecessary?